What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 105 of Two Dudes of Sports News. Take two. We're trying this again. As always, my name is Garrett, and here are my co-hosts.
What it do? This is Jalen Prince. Sorry I missed y'all last time, but we have a very special guest this time. We have one of the founding fathers and lady, and first husband of Sports After Dark, the famous Twitter space. Now
first husband is crazy.
Now over to the playback area where y'all can find them. Still very popular. A lot of people still miss the Twitter space, but still famous nonetheless. We have Mr. Young Heavy. What it do, Young?
You see, I got to do the John Cena. You can't see
it. Is.
You see,
I see the ring.
I
see the ring.
You know what's crazy? Jalen and Garrett, a lot of people have been kind of asking us to come back and do the Twitter space. So we've been talking behind the scenes, and we might come back a few times. We might come back.
Okay.
The people have been asking about it. So,
people don't like the new setup?
Yeah, people is like, we used to the Twitter space. I was like, but you gotta adapt to change sometimes, man.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Change is good.
Change is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like we feel like playback is more interactive than Twitter spaces are, especially with the chat, because they be going crazy in the chat.
I like playback simply especially for the state of the divisions, when y'all able to put out the schedule, like put out a few highlights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Y'all try to do it safely, because I just found this out. If you post any type of NFL content or NBA content, it costs over close to about like $100,000 just to be able to use like a minute. So just got to be careful with that one. So pictures is always universal with that one. But overall, look, we appreciate everybody for tuning in, or for those about to tune in. We appreciate everybody that's about to listen. We appreciate the time. So let's get into it. Obviously, we know what tomorrow is. If you're listening on time, you know what Sunday is going to be. There's a lot on the line. There's too many storylines to count, but we're gonna try to still count them at the end of the day. But also, one thing about our guest, he is a smart, huge Lakers fan, and they've made some moves during this very, very historic trade deadline. But other than that, you can find it on please follow us on all social medias. You can follow us on Twitter /X at Tdsn Pod. Follow us on TikTok. We'll soon get back on there as soon as I get done doing what I have to do for work on Tdsn. Underscore pod, that's POD, and then follow us on YouTube. So let's get into it. We know what tomorrow is. It's Super Bowl Sunday. You got the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles, that's been the best team in the NFC. You got the AFC champions Kansas City Chiefs. Whether it's the refs or not, they've still been one of the best teams in the AFC. We got two of the best teams in the NFL in the Super Bowl, the way it's supposed to be, and people are mad about it. But at the end of the day, we ain't going to discuss that part. We just going to talk ball. So I'm going to start with my co-host first. Garrett, what's your prediction?
I can drink on your show, can I?
Yeah, go for
without
it.
question.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. It's been a long time since I've been with my guys. So I had to get
Hey man, do your thing.
You know what I do for work. You see the backdrop right here. There's a bottle of bourbon in the backdrop. We're fine.
All right, my man.
I got water over here, but Garrett,
we got a bottle of bourbon in the background. We're good. So I'm a Jags fan. It's been a long season. But for me, with this, I've been in Cancun since week 4. It's been great. But for me, can Yellowstone erupt? Can that super volcano finally take out what's going on right now? Because the last thing I want, I saw Ash tweet about it earlier. I have not been less excited for a Super Bowl in a very long time. Like we're encroaching Warriors Cavs territory right here. Like when they went back to back ships for 3 years in a row. It's like, can you give me somebody else? Anybody else? Like I just. The internal struggle for me is, no disrespect towards Philly fans, because I don't need y'all coming after me. But but y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. However,
it's not disrespect though.
No, but it's to me, who do I want to hear less? Do I want to hear Chiefs talking about a three-peat, or do I want to hear Eagles fans talk about how they're the ones who took down the Chiefs? And to me,
I'll go Eagles.
I'm going Eagles too. I wanted the Eagles to win. I think the Eagles can win if they can just control the clock and not give Mahomes apparently more than 10 seconds. I think they'll be okay. I mean, if you look at the ticker at the bottom of the screen, if you guys are watching it live, if you come back to it later, per ESPN this morning, the spread is literally a point. Like, this is one of the most evenly matched Super Bowls we've seen in a little bit. I think the Eagles can absolutely pull it out. I just don't think we have the Chiefs D-line going against the Eagles O-line, and this is one of those truly, unstoppable force meets an immovable object. So I think it's going to come down to the trenches as it always does, and, who can pull it out? And I think it's Philly, just because there's too many – they have too many cards in their hand to not be successful at this point.
Hey, Big, talk to me.
Something you were definitely right. Of course, I'm from the city of Philadelphia. I definitely know how Philly fans can be. They love their sports. You know what I mean? And I try to tell everybody, if you are an outsider coming to watch your team play at the Eagle Stadium, just watch the game and get up out of there. Just that simple. Just get up out of there, because they rough, dog, and they rugged. You know what I mean? Like, especially if they lost, you definitely better get up out of there. Yeah, 'cause it might get real technical in there. Here. I'm with y'all. You know what I mean? It's Super Bowl fatigue, but like Jalen said, you know what I mean, regardless of how you say it, you know what I mean, Kansas City, they are who they are. They're the reason they're that good. Why they are in the Super Bowl again for the third time. You know what I mean? Like, that's who they are. I think we kind of all knew before the season started that they were the team that was going to be there. It was just about who they were going to play out of the NFC. And that's the point that we've gotten to. Okay, we know Kansas City going to be there. It's about who they're going to play. And this Eagles team, of course, from a talent aspect, the Eagles are the better team. But what I've been always saying, if you got the better head coach, the better quarterback, that's more than likely the team that wins at the higher percentage of the time. And they have the better coaching with Spags, Reed, and, of course, Mahomes at quarterback. Listen, Spags, man, you can have the greatest offense in the world, but when you go against that dude, he changes everything, man. He changes everything you want to do. And sometimes he'll throw stuff at you that you might not have seen all year. Like, for example, that last fourth down cornerback blitz against Josh Allen. Josh Allen had zero clue that was coming. He had zero clue. I don't think nobody knew that blitz was coming. But Spags called it at the right time. It's just, me personally, I'd rather ride through my city and see them turned up over a win versus seeing Mahomes get 3. However, if he does win 3 in a row, you got no choice but to tip your hat off to him.
For sure. I don't think it's a situation where it's like, it's not that it wouldn't be deserved. I mean, it's more of a situation that, like, you respect what's been done 100%. It's just a situation to me where I'm so tired of seeing it, man. Like, we're getting back to like the Patriots era where it's like, give me anybody else. And it's a testament how great they are as a team from top to bottom, 100%. But it's still like, it gets to a point where it's like, give me anybody else. I don't care.
And my wife did. Oh, my bad.
No, you good. What you say about the lovely Miss Ashley Baker?
Yeah, I was trying to, because she's a Tom Brady fan, and I've been trying to warn her for like a few years now. I said Mahomes is reaching that Brady tier where
he's coming.
Garrett said, you tired of seeing him. You're tired of seeing him there, and that's the tier he's reaching now. She didn't like it, but I'm like, I mean, just be prepared.
I'm going to say something incredibly controversial right now.
Go ahead. Then
Tom Brady, I think, is the most boring quarterback on the planet. He's so boring, and let me explain. It's because it's tiny.
How is he boring?
I'll tell you.
No, how is he boring in not Eli?
I never said Eli wasn't boring.
Eli
I said
might be the most boring quarterback.
But Eli will also say something incredibly off the wall that's funny. Tom Brady is so media coached. He's so everything. It's one of those things to me where even watching him play, it's so methodical and boring. It's not exciting to watch at all. But it worked, and it's great, and that's awesome. And it's about winning and not entertainment aspect. But if we're going purely based on entertainment, God, he's really boring to watch, man. Eli boring.
Eli might have been boring. I don't think Brady was boring to watch. I think
Eli would pull something out of his butt though.
Where he get with Brady.
Yeah. Eli would pull something out of his butt though, where he would scramble away from something during the Super Bowl, where they had him sacked 3 times and he ran away from it and threw the ball downfield. Brady wasn't doing that. If Brady got touched, Brady was probably going down.
All right, my turn. So here's the thing. I'm gonna do this in the commercial style. If you're getting tired about Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl, try a Gatorade. Re-energize and keep you hydrated. The reason why I bring that up, here's the thing. I'm picking the Eagles to win this game, but my money's always going to be on Mahomes. That's like, it's greatness. If we think about, look, Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, LeBron James, greatness is what it is. You can try to take it away, but you really can't because it's already set in stone. He's already got what? Let's see, three.
Three rings.
He got three rings.
He got three.
He earned them. It ain't been given. No matter what anybody says about the whole referee thing, it ain't been given. He's earned it. And look who he's going against. Now, the contention as far as, and we're going to get on to we're going to talk about this a little bit later on as far as like whose narratives can change after tomorrow night. With Patrick Mahomes, we already know what it is. He's going to show up. He's going to do his thing. But what happened the last time he was in the Super Bowl that he lost? You was able to get pressure on him. You was able to send a whole bunch of heat. You was able to just, like, your guys beat his guys. Let's look at his guys. He's the better quarterback. He has the better coaches in general. He has the better coaches. And we know what Patrick Mahomes has done to Vic Fangio. He's old, like Vic Fangio is 0-8 versus Mahomes. Now, Vic Fangio got a different defense on what Philly got. We understand that. But here's why I'm so confident in Philly more than anybody else, more than Buffalo, more than the Ravens, more than anybody else you can name. Philly has an identity, and they will not change at all. Think about this. With the Ravens, I always thought like the Ravens were capable enough to beat the Chiefs. But when the moment comes down to it, they will change their identity. And that will cost them. Philly won't do it.
No.
Because everybody can complain about, they keep doing the brotherly shove, the tush push. They keep doing it. We want to stop doing it. They ain't about to budge.
We stop
Jalen
it.
Hurts, he is who he is. He's a winner. And as much as y'all two don't want to acknowledge wins are a quarterback stat, we're not gonna get into it, but it's still there. Jalen Hurts is who he is. He's gonna find a way to win. He's gonna show up. Sometimes they play down to it. Sometimes he plays down to a competition. But when it comes down to it, he's gonna step up. Saquon is Saquon. That offensive line is that offensive line. That defensive line is that defensive line. The biggest difference between 2 years ago and this year, that secondary is way better than the one 2 years ago.
Yes.
Now I feel like Mahomes and Reed are gonna attack those rookies. But here's the dangerous thing. They rookies, they don't know no better. They don't know how, like most rookies don't know no better. They don't know how much pressure they are supposed to be in. They're just gonna go out there and play. So I'm excited to see how the game's gonna go out. But here's the last thing, and we can move on. The Eagles are gonna win this game by not out-coaching the Chiefs, because you can't out-coach the Chiefs. Andy Reid has seen everything. Spags has seen everything. So you want to know how you beat them? You don't out-coach them. You just have your better players line up and beat them. You just got to play.
I will say this. Kellen Moore, he has an issue where sometimes he like to get away from what works.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
So that I like I said, on the side, I've been thinking. I said Kellen Moore hasn't had that game yet where he completely forgets about what works, and that game might be the Super Bowl game. Saquon got them all the way there, but Spags is going to. I feel like Spags is going to put them in a position where Jalen Hurts is going to have to win them this game. They're not going to let Saquon run wild on them. They're not going to let that go down.
But my thing is, like, can the Chiefs really stop that? The Eagles are going to do whatever they want because they got that line.
The Chiefs got a really good defense.
They got
a really good defense.
Here's what we're forgetting.
George Karlaftis is going to be an X factor in this game because he's I think he's top 5 all time in sacks in the playoffs, and we don't talk about him enough.
Here's what we're also not talking about enough. James Cook absolutely destroyed that Chiefs defense.
Joe Mixon wasn't bad neither.
Mixon had a solid game against them too.
So if you lean on the run and you lean on Saquon, who is better than Joe Mixon and James Cook, and don't stray away from what works, I think and that was part of the reason why Buffalo had some issues too, is they started pulling away from the run.
Yep.
It's like, why? He's averaging 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. Keep giving him the ball.
Give
him the ball until they stop it. Yeah, give him the ball until they stop it.
So if they As simple as
Yeah,
that. But also, like whoever wins the turnover battle, you win the game. Neither because here's the thing, Heavy, you know this firsthand. Uh, a good team that turns the ball over to a bad team can still win. But a good team
absolutely.
or a bad team that turns the ball over to a good team, you're not gonna win. Both
No.
teams are good teams. You turn
Mhm.
the ball over to either one, you're gonna lose. These are both really good teams. Both can make a case they could possibly be the greatest team ever put together. You could make a case for both sides. You could question what you want from the Chiefs. You can make a case. Yeah, I know your face, but you still can make a case because we remember the Super Bowl winning teams. You can still make a case for either one. Just based on the year that, like, this is to me, this has been a really good year in the NFL. Quarterback
It
parity,
was.
a
It
whole
was.
lot of competition,
It was.
some
It was
really
a good
good
year.
games, and just a matter of like just what the rookies have done this year. You can really make a case on that. So that's why I say you can make a case. Whoever wins the Super Bowl can be mentioned as one of the greatest teams ever, one of the greatest teams all time. You might not put it at 10, but you can still mention it.
One thing I'll give Kansas City that I always say about them, they are not a team that beat themselves. They don't beat themselves. And that's when you playing them, you cannot beat yourself when you're playing Kansas City because they
Mm,
don't really make mistakes. And I'm talking offense, defense, special teams. They don't really shoot themselves in the foot. You got to play a clean game against them. And like one of you guys said earlier, honestly, I think to beat them, the game cannot be close. You got to have them by a double digit score, like
Yep.
late in the fourth quarter
Yep.
type of situation. If it's a one score game, you're in trouble.
You need to give
Mahomes
him
can't
less
have
than
the ball last.
you need to give him less than 10 seconds.
No, you got no
Nah, real
less
rap.
than 3.
Was it 3?
Less than no, you got to give them less than 3 seconds, and it's got to be at their 40. At their 40 by most.
Because
Yeah,
13. It was 13 for the Bills Chiefs
It
game.
was
Did
13.
it's
It was
did he
13.
13
have one that was
They had no
seconds.
less?
timeouts. No, wait, scratch that. They had what? 2 timeouts or 1?
I don't think they had any. I don't know. But
I don't
I,
think
no,
they
I know
had
they had.
any.
and what you do also is, for the love of God, don't plug your ears heavy. Don't play prevent defense and not spy Mahomes.
The dumbest thing ever, bro. The
I
dumbest thing
can't.
ever.
I couldn't believe it. I'm just watching. He's like, okay, well, he'll drop back. He'll cover everybody, and then Mahomes will run for 15 yards. It's like, what are
The
we doing?
dumbest thing ever. And I'm
What are we
watching
doing?
it, and I'm like, these dudes about to beat us. And I'm
All right,
watching that in my mind. I'm like, I hope it don't happen, but these dudes about to beat us.
all right. So we're gonna do a quick. We're gonna do a quick 5 minute. We're gonna do a quick 5 minute takes. We have 3 questions already lined up. We're gonna go ahead and give it. So
Oh
here's what
man.
we. So each of. So I'm gonna pick which question, and I'm gonna pick which person's gonna answer it.
All right.
First things first, Garrett.
Hmm.
Eagles versus like how much will the refs play a part in this game?
To me, it first of all, whoever the media guy who got credentials for this, I didn't know it was that easy to get credentials to the Super Bowl. Because shoot, I think you and I do apply next year, man. That's crazy. But I know
Y'all
y'all
will be
saw that
here next
video.
year. We're gonna speak that into existence. Y'all will
Yeah, I
be
mean,
here.
why not? Sure, screw it. But to me, it's if it's that easy to apply, why not? But for me, I think the situation, I think, Heavy, you said it when you and DG were talking about it the other day. It's not that the Chiefs get more penalties than anybody else or less penalties than anybody else. It's the timing. And I can't necessarily blame the rest for that, because if you play into the way the game is, then that's just how it is. Like if you and Josh Allen does it, a lot of people do it. There's a lot of flops. If you do it at the right time, I can't. It's frustrating, but you can't be mad at it. So I don't love that narrative. I've always been a fan of, if the refs are the reason why you lost the game, then you didn't do enough to win.
That's a fact.
All right, Heavy. Here's your question. Whose narrative will change after the Super Bowl?
Oh man, who narrative will change? I mean, if we talking wins or loss, if Mahomes win, his narrative will change for sure. They'll be saying that he's the greatest quarterback of all time because he'll be the only quarterback to win 3 Super Bowls straight. So his narrative will change. And on the other side, if Jalen Hurts was to win, we'll be having a conversation about Lamar Jackson if Jalen Hurts wins this Super Bowl. So
Okay.
yeah.
So here's mine. So what will a Super Bowl win do for either quarterback? You already answered that question.
Yeah, I can't answer that.
You kind of already answered that one. I should have done the narrative, but I'll still answer it. Obviously, if Mahomes wins this, he's already made history that nobody's ever been able to do. He three-peated. You can say what you want on how he did it. He got it, and he still did it. He's like GOAT conversation. However, you still got those that are gonna say like he never beat Brady. And that's still fact. I know somebody in particular that's really gonna mention he never beat Brady. So like, and that is fact. For Mahomes, for Hurts, look, we get it. He's never gonna be as talented as Lamar, Josh Allen, or Patrick Mahomes. We get that. But for him to do what only 3 guys have ever done in the history of the NFL, and that's beat Patrick Mahomes in the postseason and prevent him from winning the Super Bowl. You got to mention that he's back in that higher tier as far as quarterbacks because he's able to get it done. He's a flat out winner. He might not be as talented. He might not do as much special things, and he don't put up a bunch of numbers. But given how that team is built, they don't have to. So if he's able to get this done, close the deal, and achieve the ultimate goal in the NFL, yeah, his narrative is gonna change it. Just be like he's not only a winner. He's by far one of the top 5 best quarterbacks in football. But
that's fair.
All right.
I do want to touch on one thing too before we keep moving on because I just saw an ESPN alert. Shout out to Dickie V. This is his first game back tonight. Back in the commentary booth.
Clemson, Duke.
Yep. Dick Vitale is finally back and healthy again. That's great. We're happy for him. Excited to hear him during March. So I just saw that. I was like, we got to touch on that before I forget about it. So what do we want to get into next, Jalen?
All right, here's what we're going to get into. So this is for Heavy. Some stuff went down this past weekend, and mainly before the trade deadline. A lot of stuff went down in Big D, in LA, in Golden State, in Miami. A lot of stuff went down.
You want to put up the family photo?
What went down in the biggest one? Well, a global generational player got traded to the most famous NBA team franchise in the world, without question. We already understand that. But he got traded for another really great player that's also a champion, but he's had injury problems. And the story of it is like the fact that you traded him is also how and everything went down. And on the other side, it's a fan base that it's been so heartbroken and so ticked off that the GM of the people that made it and that made the decision to go down, he had to hire security. The bottom line is on this particular trade, Luka Doncic get traded to the LA Lakers, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. I still want to keep this one up. Luka Doncic get traded to the LA Lakers. To me, long-term, Lakers win. If Anthony Davis, albeit we know he got hurt after dropping 26 tonight in a win versus the Houston Rockets, hopefully he'll come back. But if he's able to stay healthy throughout the playoffs, I think Dallas wins it now. But in the long run, next 5 years as they continue to build up, it's the Lakers that won it. But Heavy, when the trade dropped, when Shams dropped this out, where were you at when this happened?
This man had to come out and say that he is not hacked and he is completely honest.
This was funny story. So I'm with the wife. We in here. We watching the Benavidez fight. So the fight is over, and she like, Shams is hacked. And I'm like, what you talking about? So she showed me the tweet, and I'm like, he traded Anthony Davis, Luka, and I'm like, I checked the John. I'm like, oh, that's Shams. Okay, I ain't saying nothing. She was like, no, he hacked. Then when Shams quote tweeted and was like, no, this is for real. Like so I still ain't saying nothing yet. I'm like, all right, Shams, all right, I guess. When ESPN tweeted that, she'll tell you, I was in here going crazy, like, oh shit, excuse my language, but we got Luka. What the hell is going on? Like, yo, we really got Luka. Like, it was really like, what the hell is going on? Like, we really got Luka?
Y'all did it again.
We did it again.
Kareem, LeBron,
Pau Gasol.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
y'all did it again.
And hey, so everybody calling me like, yo, y'all got Luka, and I'm like, bro, we really got Luka. So it was like, and then to read the whole thing, because imagine if y'all was GMs and the GM come to you and say, "Yo, you want Luca?" You'd be like, "But you serious? Like you for real?" Yeah, I'm for real. Do you want Luca? Hell yeah, I want Luca. What you
Yeah.
want? Absolutely. Let me get AD. All right, cool. So I'm like, wow, y'all really gave us a 25-year-old mega superstar that hasn't even hit his prime yet.
Or his
He
weight
ain't even
limit.
hit his prime yet.
You beat me to it. It's not even the fact that here's what's crazy to me. Because apparently there was a tweet where because I found it. There was something where they were talking about it. Y'all's GM needs an award for front office man of the year.
He's go.
Palenka?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
remember
Palenka
they wanted Rob's head a while ago.
I did. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I
Yeah.
said,
I think he's
Rob.
redeemed himself in this. I gotta
Oh,
find it.
Without question.
100%. Without a
There,
Without
question, he
question.
where
did.
is it? Because there
Without
was
a question, he did.
you know it's big news. So my girl does not watch sports. She's not a big sports fan. But like the next morning, she's like, "Hey, did something happen in the NBA? Like, what's wrong?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "TikTok's going crazy about this stuff. Like, what happened in the NBA?" And she's telling me like they're talking about like, oh, like giving me these crazy examples, and I was laughing. I was like, "No, that was like the most ridiculous trade I've ever seen."
Right.
And I was like, but the fact that it transcended to your world is so funny to me. I'm
Bruh.
trying to understand. What
Like, bruh.
it
So
was.
for me, it's like I was chilling with my boys and everything. We was just talking and kicking and stuff. And then I said, I'm like, I'm looking at the tweet. I'm thinking like, all right, that's Shams. I see a blue check mark. Now let me go to other sources. So everybody else, it was ESPN. For me, it was Bleacher Report. The moment I saw it on Bleacher Report, I said like, "Oh snap!"
I got it. This is
And
from the
immediately, my initial reaction was, "This doesn't make any sense," because to me, Luca and LeBron, their both styles don't really pan together. Now my whole thought process on that has changed with a little bit of time because LeBron don't have to do too much. Obviously, Luca can handle his business. Now, defense is going to take a hit, but you still got Dorian Finney-Smith. Trying to think who else you got. You just traded for Mark Williams. You got a really good rim protector like Jackson Haynes. We know what he's not the best rim protector, but he still add length. You can't teach size. And somebody was telling me who doesn't want to see like one of my like one of my homeboys. He was telling me who doesn't want to see the Lakers. I was like I'm saying like who wants to see the Lakers at this moment in time. I'm like Denver. Still OKC, even though they're young and inexperienced, but still OKC and Memphis. Those are about the only three. Here's the reason why. Denver still got Yoke. OKC don't know no better. Memphis is rugged. You mentioned Philly fans are rugged. Memphis and them boys with Ja, they ain't scared of nobody. They want the smoke. They the NBA version of the street profits.
Shea is ridiculous as well.
We ain't nervous. Lakers in 6.
No, I know y'all not nervous. Look, here's like y'all ain't never gonna be nervous about nothing, but y'all know what that Joker pun intended be doing.
Have I'll see you in the finals this
I'll
year.
let Garrett go.
I'll see you in the finals.
I'll see you in the finals. Go ahead. I want to rebuttal to what you said, Jalen, but I'll let Garrett go ahead.
So I have the tweet. This is from Legion Hoops. So the Luka Doncic Anthony Davis trade originally included multiple firsts and Dalton Connect per Kirk Goldsberry. Quote, a deal got whittled down, and I think Rob Pelinka was able to convince the Mavs that Luka is a lot of risk because of his drinking and his weight problem.
And don't forget about the hookahs.
I'm going to be 6'7", 270. I mean, that seems proportionate to me.
But he's still able to average 30 on a night.
Yeah, he's doing fine. That's the fact that y'all got him because he's quote unquote too fat is hilarious.
It made no sense to me. I said this too fat player just took y'all to the NBA Finals.
Like here's the difference between his situation and James Harden back when he was trying to get out of Houston. I believe had to use a fat suit. The other guy didn't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't. Luka
didn't want to leave.
No. But the fact that they traded
you trade a global superstar at that.
You traded a guy who's he's perennially in the conversation for MVP every single year. For a guy who's been on the decline for the last 2.
5-time All-Pro.
It's I was like, there's no way this is real. Like there's no way this is real. And then I saw the tweet that said, I'm not joking. I'm like, oh my God. Go ahead, heavy rebuttal. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll say this. I know a lot of people saying that the Mavs won right now and all of that, but I'm gonna tell y'all, a lot of people gonna go back and say, how the hell did y'all let Luka and LeBron play together?
I'm saying it now.
I can see that. Like I said,
People, I'm trying to tell you, dog.
I can see it.
Because one thing about Bron, I learned about Bron, he can adjust to anybody.
That's true. That's true.
LeBron can play off the ball. He gonna let Luka. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love AD. AD is a Laker for life. I will always have love for Anthony Davis. But LeBron needed a player that where he can say, "Go ahead, do you," and take over. He had that with Kyrie. He had that with Dwayne Wade. AD was great, but when Bron tried to give it to AD never really took that next step to say, all right, Bron, you can chill. I got this. Luka, he's a straight killer. He going to be like, Bron, you can chill. Exactly. You know what I mean? LeBron, I said, to be honest with you, Luka extended LeBron's career. They might say LeBron is going to retire in 2 years. LeBron can play an extra 3-4 years because he got Luka now.
He doesn't have to play 48 minutes a night.
Exactly.
So here's my question now, because this has been in conversations on a lot of mainstream media. Is it still LeBron's Lakers or now is it Luka's Lakers?
It's still
honestly, my opinion, I think it got to be Luka. LeBron has to take the backseat now because you're about to retire soon. You know what I mean? They made this trade for post you. You know what I mean? A lot of people was like, well, why would you trade Bron? Why would you trade AD and not trade LeBron? That's like, come on, you don't get rid of LeBron. Like, come on, he's 40 years old and just had 42, 17, and 8. You don't get rid of that. Like, he's playing out of his mind. You don't get rid of him. You got to get rid of Anthony Davis, and you got to prepare for the future. And this is what I respect, Rob. But this is why another reason why I said, all right, Rob, I feel you now because Jeannie and them didn't do this for Kobe. When Kobe left, they didn't prepare for when Kobe was leaving.
Right.
And we was terrible, and we somehow got LeBron. You know what I mean?
Remember, David Stern blocked the Chris Paul trade.
David Stern did that because Michael Jordan was his man's. And he didn't want Kobe to pass Michael Jordan because let me tell you something. Kobe would have for sure won 7 rings with Chris Paul.
Yeah.
He would have won 7. He would have won 2 more.
Chris Paul getting a double-double for the rest of the season is the easiest money on Vegas for the rest of the year. With Wemby and De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah. They got and the Spurs, let me tell you something. It might not seem like something now, but boy, get him like a year or 2, and the Spurs gonna be for real. They gonna be for real, bro.
All I'll say right now is this might be a bit of a pull with it. LeBron can do it. And I think someone who was able to model their game after that is a guy like Drew Holiday. Like Drew Holiday, bear with me, like has always been able to do whatever was asked of him in this current Celtics offense. He's never been a 3-point shooter. The last 2 years, they're like, hey, we need you to shoot threes. He goes, all right, bet. And now he's shooting threes. LeBron has always been able to do that. LeBron has always been a guy who's like, okay, hey, I don't need to go to the rim anymore. I need to work on my mid-range and my 3-point shot. Done. Easy. And I'm going to be one of the best to do it. And it's so I 100% agree with you. I think he can take that back seat and be that secondary player again. He doesn't have to play 40 or 48 minutes a night. He doesn't have to, average 40 points, 13 assists, and 8 boards with 2 steals and 2 blocks. He can take a couple nights off. He just hang out.
And I think he needed that, Garrett. He needed that. You know what I mean? That's why when people, and then I had people on Twitter say, oh, LeBron going to want to get traded. He ain't going to be that. I said, why would he not want to play with Luka? Why would he not want to play with Luka?
I ain't believe that.
Their math isn't mathing to me. You get a 25-year-old mega superstar that can really extend some years in your career, and you can win. LeBron is all about winning titles. This dude, if you stay long enough, you might can get 2 out of that. Why would you want to leave that? That doesn't make sense to me.
And he already put it aside with Wade and Bosh.
We'll see, but we got to move on real quick. Well, obviously, I was showing the NBA trades reaction, but we really got to move on, so we'll save that a little bit later on. Real quick, want to mention out like the Hall of Fame class of 2025 got announced. One of the things, along with I felt like the rest of America was happy about was Sterling Shepard getting added on being announced to a Hall of Famer. and I was really happy about that. I was not surprised by Jared Allen or Antonio Gates. I remember when they played when I was a kid. I remember watching them. Gates was a touchdown machine with Phillip Rivers.
Touchdown machine.
Jared Allen, I remember him back when he was with the Vikings, and then he was able to ride off in the sunset. I forgot which team he won with, where he did ride off in the sunset.
Jared Allen?
Yeah, Jared
Allen didn't win the Super Bowl.
Oh, he didn't win the Super Bowl?
No, he never did. He was in Minnesota till the end, I think.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, but, I'm checking right now. I got you.
Eric Allen, he's a DB. He's a DB. I don't really remember him too much when he played.
Yeah, you're a little too young for that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit too young. But anyway, real quick reactions because we got to move on to some other stuff.
I'll say this. I'm definitely happy that Sterling Sharp got in. A lot of people was complaining about Sterling Sharp, but Sterling Sharp was one of them. He was neck and neck with Jerry Rice every year, man. As the best, argued for the best receiver in the league. Like Sterling Sharp was one of them, but the neck injury got him out of the game early. But he was a dog. So it was happy to see it. To me, it was even more happy to see Shannon Sharp introduce him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
like, to have your brother in there finally get in there with you, which was deserving.
First brothers to ever be inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Now I will say this: it's a player that I'll say it's two players that I was shocked that didn't get in, and they've been waiting for. Well, one kind of just getting in, but one been waiting for some time. Torrey Holt. If you to the viewers, if you don't know who Torrey Holt is, look up the tape, look up the numbers. He's a dog. My best friend, my best friend, which is a groomsman at my wedding. He's a Rams fan, been a Rams fan for over 20 years. I used to hate when they were the greatest show on turf. He played a huge reason of them being the greatest show on turf. And
100%.
And I was like, okay, I'm not mad at Jared Allen. I'm not mad at Eric Allen either. But like Torrey Holt, man, he can't keep waiting. He can't keep waiting. No,
the homer's going to come out to me in a little bit, but I want to see Fred Taylor in it. For sure, because if you ever got to watch Fred Taylor play, whether it's at Florida, if Emmitt Smith did not go to the University of Florida, Fred Taylor would be the greatest running back to ever come out of the university. The only reason why he's overshadowed is because it's Emmitt freaking Smith.
Absolutely.
That's it. So I think Fred should absolutely be in the Hall. And again, injuries kind of hampered his career too. The other guy, again, Jimmy Smith. Thank you, Dallas, for giving me our franchise wide receiver, who is one. He's also the absolute beast. And I think though, if Sterling got in, not to say that, but the numbers are there. Sterling was an absolute freak athlete, and you're right. He was neck and neck with Jerry for years. But it's time to talk about Fred and Jimmy at this point. Like, I feel like they're suffering from my franchise being what we've been for a long time. It's just mid. But they're two great players who should have been in there. So, and I think they will be eventually. But
real quick, I think they both get in.
Real quick, these are going to be the names that's going to be eligible for the Hall of Fame going into 2026. We already know Larry Legend, Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Jason Witten, Frank Gore, Edelman, Marquise Pouncey, LaShawn McCoy, Thomas Davis, Greg Olson, Alex Smith, Todd Gurley, Des Bryant, Stephen Gostkowski, and more out of that bunch. Off the
am I making a case?
I think Steve Smith is on that list as well. For me. Like, off the rip, I'm just going to say this because we got to move on. It's Drew Brees, it's Larry Legend, and those are the two automatics to me out of that bunch.
Greg Olson's image has been tainted for me, even though I think he should absolutely go into the
league. I know you don't like it, Jalen, but respect
No. I got too much respect for
my man 21.
I got too much respect for Frank Gore. Now, do I think he's going to be first ballot? Probably not.
Nah, he probably won't.
He'll be second. He'll be second.
But first ballot off the rip, it's Larry Legend and it's Drew Brees.
Yeah, I agree with you.
For sure.
I agree with you. They get
it. But yeah, let's move on. Congrats to the class of 2025. It's gonna be fun seeing them jokers in Canton. Now let's get back to football. Put up the image. We gotta talk about this. Now take it off. Here, first things first. I'm not gonna say he didn't earn it. Josh Allen earned it. Lamar Jackson earned it. Both them jokers earned it. Josh Allen, he had the narrative. He didn't have a ton of weapons. He ain't had no one receivers. He was doing everything from the top, from the neck down. Completely understand that. He's always been in contention to be able to get one, didn't get one, or whatever the case may be. He earned it. I will give him the credit when credit is due. But this feels similar to Joel Embiid. How are you not the first team All-Pro and you don't win MVP? That don't make no sense to me.
I can tell you what did it.
Somebody pointed this out. I forgot who it was. Marcus Gasol won Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA,
which is
and
crazy.
He was second team All Defense. Make it make sense, man. And again, I don't want to take nothing away. Josh Allen was sensational this year. But to me, when Lamar got first team All Pro, I'm thinking, yeah, he got MVP. He's a 3-time MVP. It was already set in stone because this is a regular season. To me, I felt like somebody changed this stuff off the rip. But that's just my opinion.
So this just saying AD's injury is not supposed to be serious. They're saying it's all right and it'll be fine. I can tell you exactly what happened that playoff game.
But remember, we're talking regular season, though.
I understand, but that playoff game is going to sway voters to think of who's better. It's like
the votes are final.
I understand. But what I'm trying to wait, votes are final during the regular season?
At the end of the regular season, yeah.
I did not know that.
They wrap
I did not know that. Okay.
Season.
That's why I'm saying, like, somebody had to reopen that thing.
I think it was voter fatigue then. It has to be voter fatigue.
I'll say this. It is a little voter.
Heavy, real quick before you answer this, how many MVPs do you think LeBron would have won if there was no voters fatigue?
He probably had like 7.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's voter fatigue. Voter fatigue played a part. I will say this: and Lamar statistically for sure had a year where he should have won it. But shout out to my wife on this. You know, for one, narrative plays a part, and they look at what he had around him. He just had James Cook, and that was it. You know what I mean? It was.
He had Deion Dawkins.
Come on, man.
Hey, I gotta get credit to the Pro Bowler.
That receiving core is Khalil Shakir, Mac Hollins,
Garrett, and Jalen.
Yeah, exactly. That's us.
Come on, man.
That's us.
He didn't have nobody. Now here's my discrepancy. I hear a lot of people, doing this like, oh, Lamar should have won. Josh Allen numbers wasn't there. But what about the year before when Lamar numbers weren't there, and there were 2 quarterbacks that numbers were far better than Lamar's, and they didn't win it. And I'm gonna always rock for my guy. But the other one is Dak Prescott.
Oh, I'm about to say Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy.
Yeah, for sure. Dak Prescott had a far better year than Lamar Jackson last year. Lamar Jackson numbers were pretty mid, and he won MVP. And people was like, well, Lamar did this or well, Lamar did that. I feel like the MVP is starting to become narrative based.
Yep.
That's what it's becoming now. And I told my wife this before the end of the season. I said, listen, if the Bengals make the playoffs, I felt like Joe Burrow would have won MVP.
You and I were talking about that.
We did because Joe Burrow had the narrative. He had the narrative.
He had the numbers.
He had the numbers. He had the narrative. You know what I mean? Everything was working in his favor. If they would have made the playoffs, I think they would have gave it to him. And I don't like that it's narrative based. It's becoming that, and I don't like it.
If their defense was 50% better, Burrow absolutely wins the MVP this year. 100%. Like there's no way he doesn't. Like it's a situation to me where like the things he did to will that team back into games was insane to me.
But there were moments where he did put him in those holes.
I mean, he did for sure. I'll give you that.
You can't turn the ball over in the fourth quarter.
I agree.
Yeah, especially when your defense is bad. But
you can't miss open wide receivers in the fourth quarter.
We gotta keep moving. We're almost running out of time. So yeah, let's talk about Nico Harris as Heavy tries to find a way to get his system back working.
Talk about Nico, and we can talk about some trades real quick too. Cup and Myles Garrett. So let's get moving.
You want to introduce this one?
Yeah. So let's do. Let's get it while Heavy gets back on. Basically, for those who didn't have or who weren't really paying too much attention, Nico Harrison has had to hire personal security. Per quote, Nico Harrison was subjected to death threats. There have been racial epithets, included in some of those. There will be protests outside the arena. Those are planned. Security will certainly be beefed up. and this
Welcome
is per Nico Harrison. He's back. All right. So yeah, Nico Harrison has had to hire extra security. He's not going to be in his. These are per reports. Not going to be in his normal seat in the stands, and they're coming for him.
Oh, what?
They're coming for him.
But Heavy, did you want to finish your statement or just move on to this conversation?
Yeah, sorry. My son called me because he's trying to play Call of Duty, but I said son, I'm on the show right now, so you gotta wait till I'm done. You gotta wait till I'm done.
You gotta finish it. Then you can put him. You can put him in his place after that. You gotta be like, all right, listen.
Yeah, you can let him know.
But I mean, it's all good. I'm enjoying talking sports with my guys. It's been a minute. I missed you, dudes. So I ain't mad.
It's good to catch up, man.
The MVP is it needs to change. It needs to change, and I feel like the first team All Pro thing. One thing I respect first team All Pros, but I think we've had some first team All Pro quarterbacks not win MVP though. I think we've had a few first team quarterbacks not win MVP.
I get that. My thing is like I got more respect for first team All Pro than I do Pro Bowlers. That's just me.
All day.
I respect all
I'm here with that, Jalen.
more than Pro Bowlers any day. Now I acknowledge it, but like from hearing the stories, like what Shannon Sharp used to say, what primetime Deion Sanders had to say, from when Brady, like around his prime when he was in there, or like Peyton Manning, when they used to be in Hawaii, that's when I felt like it was really, really good and it was like credible and it was respected. Now it's just like it's a big joke to me. But
you know what's funny? This Jalen, that's we here with that because I just said that to her the other day. I said that Pro Bowls don't hold the same weight that they used to. You know what I mean? Like when you used to argue sports, and I'm sure, like, knowing y'all, I'm sure y'all been debating sports your whole life.
Years.
You know what I mean? Years. And when you used to do that, you okay, Jalen?
We did. We really did.
A few times, brother. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. You know what I mean? Pro Bowls held weight back in those eras. Now it don't hold the same weight. Like, come on, man.
Tyler Huntley went to the Pro Bowl 2 years ago.
Drake May and Russell Wilson made the Pro Bowl.
Right? Why are you here?
I said, oh yeah, the Pro Bowl, y'all might as well get rid of it now. We got Drake May and Russell Wilson making the Pro Bowl. We might as well get rid of it, dog. It don't even, we just throwing anybody there now. It don't even hold the same weight.
There are 2 times where a first team All Pro or a non-first team All Pro has won an MVP. It was 1987 and 2003.
Well, who was that?
John Elway and Air McNair.
Okay, yep.
That's it. Those are the definitely had one. Josh Allen. Those are the only 2 times where this has happened.
Yeah,
which is again 2 of the best to ever do it.
But anyway,
yeah,
we got to get to this story because we're almost running out of time. Obviously, Garrett, you already mentioned it. Nico Harrison, the GM of the Dallas Mavericks, the guy that was with Rob Pelinka and got the co-signed by Mark Cuban, because ain't no GM making a move like this and you don't get a co-sign by your owner. There's no way that's happening.
No.
But like Nico Harris has to hire extra security. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was a Mavs fan, I said like there ain't no amount of security in the state of Texas that's gonna be able to
as someone who is just now having their professional team act like a competent franchise, I understand. Heavy, I know you know my joy that Trent is out of this dang building.
Y'all did something. That was the smartest move y'all could have ever made.
Hey, well, I'm gonna say
Go ahead, Jalen, I'm sorry.
Here's what makes this 10 times worse. You made that move. You ticked off the whole state of Texas, and you black. Think about that now. You in a position of power. You in the state of Texas. You traded a global superstar that has kept that franchise alive post Dirk, and you black.
Not a good combo.
That's not a good combo.
Not a good combo. Jalen ain't lying.
You can't go to Oklahoma for protection.
Jalen ain't lying. He
can't go anywhere for protection.
You can't go anywhere. Nowhere.
It's like I've been to Oklahoma.
You can't go on a plane. You can't go on a boat. Like
he got to go private everywhere. He got to everything.
Private, and you got to pray for God. Nobody knows who you are.
He said, "Hey, Mark, I need the jet."
For sure. He got to do.
I need my own jet
for sure.
They're gonna bomb that too. You are a
Allegedly, we
position of
can't be.
power. You
I don't need this
traded
coming
a
back.
global superstar. I'm not gonna defend the ones that are gonna give death threats. Obviously, life is
No, God,
precious.
no.
Yeah,
We're not gonna do that.
it's not that
Like,
deep. It's
No
not that
racism,
deep.
no death
it's
threats.
not that
Too
deep, but it
serious.
is that
It's not
deep
that
to a lot of fan bases. I understand it,
Yeah,
but like I will not agree with it. But I understand it. I won't agree with it. But you in a position of power, you just got there. You ain't been there no 10 plus years. You wasn't there when y'all had dirt. You just got there. You made this move and you're black. That's not a good combo. That's not a good.
it's not a good combo.
They gonna have. Ooh, boy, you got to have protection your whole life. Not even if you get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Your
Mhm.
life.
How you gonna trade Luka for Anthony Davis? Okay.
I'm thinking about his family, man. Like if you Nico Harris's kid, how the heck you going to school?
I think if he gets fired, he has to leave that state.
He's got to
He
move.
got to
He's got to leave the
move.
state.
He
He's
got
got
to
to go
move.
somewhere else.
He got
We're
to
in
move. He
France
has to
now.
go
But
somewhere.
it can't be nowhere near
Hey,
Texas.
Gary.
You like his to me, Nico Harris's safest place is in California. That's the safest
Yeah.
place he could
Oh
be.
yeah, he'll be loved there.
He'll
They'll
be
love him there.
loved there.
They'll love
He
him
won't
there.
get a job. He won't get no
No,
GM job. Oh no,
no,
no.
no, no, no.
He could do like he
It's
could
over.
he could do a desk.
Luka's personal accountant.
Yes,
Mm-hmm. No,
he could
Luka
do
might
that.
not even trust that. Luka might not
Oh
even
no,
trust
Luka
his
that.
declined all
safest
his
place.
calls. Did you see that
Go
screenshot from his
Yeah,
phone?
go
yeah.
to
Luka
the
said,
West
"I ain't."
Coast.
Yeah, go to the West Coast. I'm with you.
Go to the West Coast, and or if you still want to try to be a GM, go to the WNBA. But it's got
There
to
you
be
go.
one of them lower ranked teams. Don't
I'm
touch
about to say
Vegas.
it.
Don't
Hey,
Yeah,
touch
don't touch
Atlanta.
Vegas.
Don't touch
Mhm.
LA. And
The
you
Liberty,
better
don't
not.
trust them either.
You
Don't
Mhm.
trust
can't.
them
You
either.
can't go to that. And you already know you can't stay in Dallas, so you can't touch the
No.
wings.
Nico, I'll
Because
tell
Mm-mm.
you,
because if this dude touched the wings,
Mm-mm.
he'd give away Enrique Gumawale off the rip.
Oh yeah, off the
Off
rip.
the rip.
He would trade Asia Wilson if he was with the
Mhm.
Aces. He would trade her.
Man,
he said
would.
her name is spelled different. I got to trade her.
no. No. He said like, I can't pronounce her name. She got to go.
There's no J in Asia. I got to trade this. Hang on.
Hey, Garrett.
Okay. All right. Where's the
Hey,
Y?
bro.
Yeah,
Hey,
where's the
bro.
Y?
Where's the Y? It says Asia.
Yeah.
Hey,
Where's
bro.
the H?
Where's the
Listen,
Y?
man. Let me tell you something, Nico. Let me tell you something, Nico. Laker Nation, you are right with us playing. You are always
Come
up
to
with
LA.
us. You're good. You're
Okay.
good with us playing.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
We
All right.
gotta touch on one thing real quick. We gotta touch the Myles Garrett thing real quick before we get out of here.
All
We gotta
right.
touch on that
all
real
Oh
quick.
yeah, for sure.
We gotta touch on Myles
Shoot,
Garrett real
man.
quick because
Okay.
when we were
Oh,
first
man.
trying to record this was the day it happened, and then before we tried to record this because we had technical issues. So thank you guys for bearing with us. Rams announced they're going to try to trade Cooper Kupp. So I got Myles Garrett's comment basically, as a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal. I can't spell. Ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl, and the goal that fuels me today more than ever. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man I am today. While I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. He might go to the Niners. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It has always, which I respect, has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, I have requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns.
I'll say this. I think Cleveland, you should let, even if he doesn't come to the Niners, I think you should grant his wish and let him compete. Like he gave y'all 8 years. He gave you 8 years of dominant play. You know what I mean? Did his best to make y'all competitive. And let's call it what it is, fellas. Cleveland is not a good franchise. I don't think
It's
they
not.
ever will be. They'll never will be. So I mean, do right by him and let him go somewhere where he can compete for a Super Bowl. It ain't like he been complaining throughout his career and giving y'all headaches.
He's been quiet the whole time.
Yeah, he's been quiet. He's been a leader. He's been doing his job. He's been showing y'all how dominant he's been. And y'all didn't do y'all part.
None.
Now he wants to win, and trust me, what y'all do next year is not going to put winning on the table.
They're more than one piece away, and I've been seeing it too. Because a lot of the guys I've seen a lot of Jags fans talking about how we need to trade Trayvon Walker in the first and everything. I was like, look, that makes sense if we're only a defensive end away, which we're not. It'd be dumb to not kick the tires on a first. Myles Garrett will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely.
It would be dumb not to kick the tires on it, but we're also not just an edge rusher away from winning the game and we are winning the Super Bowl. And you don't want to, give away the keys to the future.
You don't want to make emotionally based decisions.
No,
that's a fact, Jalen.
That's a fact, Jalen. You don't be, or else you're going to put yourself in purgatory.
Now, Cooper Kupp, I can see coming here.
I'm a Seahawks fan. Right now, we're in purgatory. Mid pick, and like we ain't bad enough to be like in the top 5, but we ain't good enough to be able to compete for a Super Bowl. So
you're in Steelers territory.
But
that's pretty accurate.
You're in Steelers territory.
That's pretty accurate.
But here's my so I'm looking at the odds. As of right now, I know Heavy would love for him to be in the Niners, but he ain't. But they're not pick favorite. The top 5 landing spots, according to the analyst.com, they got the Chargers plus 1.4.
No.
They got the Falcons plus 1.3. They got the Lions plus 1.1. They got the Commanders same plus 1.1. And then you got Chicago plus 1.1. Those are the top 5 landing spots.
I'm about to piss off. I'm about to piss off a lot of fan bases. Only 2 of those guys are contenders.
So like
Lions
only 2 of them. Commanders are the only other contender on that team. Those are the only. That's it. There's 2 contenders on that team.
He wouldn't contend with the Bears.
No,
and I love Jim Harbaugh, but he wouldn't contend with the Chargers either.
No.
And he wouldn't contend with the Falcons either.
He damn sure wouldn't contend with the Falcons.
No. Actually, hold on real quick. It is the NFC South.
He wouldn't contend with them.
I understand that. I understand that.
To go from one of the toughest divisions to one of the weakest divisions.
I'm outside the box thinking. Thinking at this moment. Out of that 4, Atlanta, they haven't had an edge rusher since John Abraham. If
That's
they were able to make
this
move, if they no.
Freely, the end of his career was still there.
No, Abraham.
Abraham was far better.
If Atlanta were to try to make that move to get Garrett, Michael Penix, we still questions out with him, but he showed some signs. Offense looked better. Defensively, they just wasn't able to get no pass rush. You get Garrett, you'll be able to help out everybody else. That's where I can see. Okay, maybe Washington. It makes the most sense. You can play with Dan Quinn. We know what he can do. We've seen what he did with Michael Parsons. You get a guy like Myles Garrett, and you're in the NFC. You're in the NFC East. It gives off an edge because he'll play and dominate almost against any offensive line. It'll help you out because your defense is going to be able to get stops. So that'll make sense. To me, the top spot is going to be Detroit
for sure.
Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson. We saw what happened when they weren't able to get to Jaden Daniels.
I can see
off the rip. We already know super powered, and this is the heck no. Super powered wise, it's Philly, it's the Niners, and it's the Chiefs. Those are the big hell no's.
Eagles.
Those are the big no's.
Just come pull up with Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, bro.
The biggest want is we want puppies. We don't want no big dogs. We want puppies.
We got all the big dogs.
No big dogs.
We got all the big dogs, man.
I will say, if Cleveland wants to trade him, I know they like overpaying quarterbacks, and Kirk Cousins might be getting cut. So if he waives that contract, he waives that no trade clause, he could go to Cleveland, and the money's there.
If the Browns trade Myles Garrett to the Falcons for Kirk Cousins, whoever their GM is, you better fire him right after he makes that trade.
I never want to hear a damn thing from Browns fans ever again.
They better fire him as soon as that trade is accepted. Have his pink slip right there. There's no way in hell, bro.
What about Cooper Kupp odds?
What about Cooper Kupp? What do you think?
I could honestly see him in Jacksonville.
I know you can.
I could see it because we give Trevor a weapon. I could actually see it. One thing I want more, the guy I want more than anything out of the free agency, honestly, because I think it makes sense, Charvarius Ward. because I know he's not going back to San Francisco, and I completely understand why. I get
he
it.
won't be back. Yeah.
But I would love to see him in teal next year.
Yep.
I would love to see that. But I could see Cooper Kupp in Jacksonville. I could see Cooper Kupp. I can't see him in Houston. There's too many people in Houston, and they just sunk too much into it. I can't see Houston. I could see him going to. I really could see him in Jacksonville.
To me, I'm thinking about 3. I'm thinking Houston with CJ Stroud. He's already done with the Rams. Like, Houston was in the top of my mind off the rip. I'm thinking like who?
Chargers.
Chargers, yeah.
Chargers makes sense because then you don't have to move.
Lad McConkey, Justin Herbert, give him 2 weapons. And Lad can be able to play some on the outside, like with his speed and his route running. So that'll be able to work. The third, I would say Buffalo.
I can see that.
I'll say Buffalo.
I can see that.
I say Buffalo with Josh Allen.
What
Those
about
would
Baltimore?
be my 3: Houston, Chargers, and then Buffalo. Those would be my 3. Those would be my 3 primary destinations.
Give me a 4th. I could see Baltimore.
This is my 4th, but
that was who I was going to say.
I wasn't gonna go Baltimore. Simply because of Zay.
So
even though it wouldn't matter.
Garrett.
I know. Even though it would not matter. But to me, and this is me personally, you asked me for this is my personal one that I would just love. I would love them to go to Carolina.
I can see it.
Hell no.
I could see it because they'll pay a lot of money. I could see it. Okay.
I know it won't equate to winning. Just give them a weapon.
I could see it. Heavy, what about you? Because mine are Jacksonville, San Diego, or sorry, not San Diego. I could see Jags, Chargers, Bills, and Ravens.
I definitely don't see Carolina because Cooper Kupp, he wants to compete.
Yeah, I know. That was just my personal one.
I like Jacksonville because, believe it or not, Jacksonville is going to be better with. They got Balky out of there. They got Liam Cohen. That offense is going to be. They're going to be balling. They're going to be far much improved, and he's going to be good. Fans. That's going to be good. And that's going to be good. He's going to be very good in that offense. And him and Brian Thomas Jr. That'll be something to look at.
Oh, it's disgusting.
I like the Jags. I like the Ravens. You know what I mean? The Ravens, I think that they need a receiver like him that understands coverages and is an amazing receiver in the slot. I think the Ravens are missing a dangerous slot receiver, and he could be that.
But I always thought that was Zay. I thought he always had
Zay. He's an outside field stretcher. He's an underneath and deep route guy. One thing
I respected about Kupp, he knew how to read coverages. Kupp knew how to read coverage, and he knew how to get open in between those coverages.
He knew how to hit them windows.
Exactly. They need a veteran receiver like him that understands coverages and know how to get open. They for sure need that. I would say the Ravens. I would say the Chargers for sure because they need a receiver bad.
Quentin Johnson. I was right about Quentin Johnson. Jalen, you said I owe him an apology, and I was like, I don't know about that yet.
You're right. You was right.
He can't catch a cold butt naked in Alaska.
He's way too inconsistent.
He's way too inconsistent, man.
He had trouble separating in college, and he definitely can't separate in the pros.
Last thing, and we'll end the show. Obviously, we mentioned the NFL MVPs, but there were the other awards that stepped out. You had Coach of the Year for Kevin O'Connell, Saquon Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year, which obviously nobody's going to disagree about that. Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse, Man of the Year, Ark Armstead. You're not going to debate Offensive Player of the Year, and you're not going to debate Man of the Year. You're just not. No. So out of all these awards, which one would you question the most? Which
Rookie
one?
Of the Year?
A Coach of the Year for sure. For me.
Coach of the Year, I can give you that. Rookie of the Year, I could also like Jaden was great, but I gotta be a homer on this one. BTJ had a ridiculous season.
Here's my thing. BTJ should have been a Pro Bowler.
He was a Pro Bowler.
Oh,
he should have been. He ended up making it because Zay got hurt, but he should have been. He should have been in it for the.
He should have been over Zay
for sure, 100%. But with BTJ, listen, this is a legitimate quote from former offensive coordinator Press Taylor. Because of injuries, we are now able to use him more and funnel the offense through him. Why weren't you doing that in the first place?
Yeah, he's a baller.
He's a baller.
Why would you wait till injuries to make sure you give him the ball? That doesn't make
Crazy to me.
sense.
Yep.
You
But
know what I mean? One plus one was equaling three at that moment. I don't
Yeah,
understand it.
Heavy,
now
who's your snub?
I would say coach of the year, man. They gave it to Kevin O'Connell, but like
I know why they did it,
I
but
yeah, I know why they did it too, but like how the hell Dan Quinn didn't win that award?
for sure, Dan Quinn
That
should have won
didn't.
Coach of the
Yeah.
Year.
For
Like
me,
you got a rookie quarterback. You putting this team together on the fly, and I know the regular season is what you get judged by. But
Hmm.
them dudes, but the correct me if I'm wrong. What the Commanders go? They went what 11-6.
yep,
Something like that. Yeah.
They went
yep,
11-6 with a rookie quarterback.
yep.
Where's Kenny? He'll tell us.
Um,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
my snub to me, I don't have no problem with defensive player of the year. You could have gave it to a lot of dudes that were the finalists, but Sertain I felt like was the right one because he was playing outstanding from start to the finish of
Hey,
the season.
did you see his numbers against every team he played against?
That
Yeah,
was disgusting.
yes. Now
I
it's
said,
not
yeah,
it's not Revis Island, but it was enough to be able to win.
it's right there.
It
It's
is
close.
yeah,
Right there. It's
yeah,
And
close.
here's the
yeah.
thing.
Roll
Isn't this
roll
only
tide.
is this his second or third year?
Third.
Third. Yeah,
And
this third
by,
year.
by the way, I wanted Patrick Surtain, but we traded up for some odd reason. But I
I'm just
wanted
glad
him
he
when
ain't
he
go to
was coming
Dallas.
out.
I'm
He
just
We're all
should
glad
have
he
happy
been
ain't go.
good.
about that.
I'm glad he ain't go to Dallas. That
We're
was a
always
big
happy
move.
about that.
Yep. But my snub this year, how did Quinyon Mitchell not win Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Because Jared
I
Verse ate
I ain't
on
gonna
him.
hold you.
I know
I'm
Verse
about to
was
say, come on, Jalen. We see you twice a year, bro.
I know. I
He's a
get it.
dog.
He's I'm not questioning that.
That's a
Like
that's
I
a
hated that
Florida State guy too.
I
That
hated that.
hurts me to say.
Bro, think about this. I'm
He's a
happy that
dog,
Aaron
man.
Donald retired as a Seahawks fan. I'm happy about that. But just for them to go ahead and get Jared Verse and then you get Fisk, I'm like, why can't
Waste him.
we do that? But then I remember we got a first year head coach. We're gonna start doing better. Hopefully, I'm hoping that we get Jalen Walker out of Georgia. Hopefully we'll be able to get that. We start building up that, and then we could get our own D line. That's what I'm hoping for.
Did you
But
see him Superman
me-
tackle that quarterback?
Yeah, but to me,
Ah!
but to me, when I look at Quinyon Mitchell in the year that he had as a rookie and the teams that they played and the job that he did, I'm like, from start to finish, off the rip, and he came out of nowhere on that one. Like Jared Verse came out of Florida State, so he already had some eyes on him, and he was playing in LA. Quinyon Mitchell came out of Toledo. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking because the big name cornerbacks that came out of that draft was him, Nate Wiggins, Terrion Arnold,
Mhm.
Cooper DeJean.
Cooper
Cooper DeJean.
DeJean.
They on the same team.
And
Yeah.
but he had to go against every number one that they faced that year, and they went up against a lot of really good number ones,
They
and he
did.
held it down. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Quinn is a dog.
Quinny's
Yeah,
great.
that's
I
why.
don't think
Yeah.
it's fair to say that came out of nowhere though, because I couldn't go through a mock draft or top prospects on defense without seeing that man's name pop up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get that.
So
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the one thing I will say too about it, Howie Roseman is a great example at the NFL level of how sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
But
How
also,
is he?
here's another thing. Howie Roseman is the one. Howie Roseman is the one guy that will take his L and take accountability
For sure.
it and move the hell on.
For sure. And
Yeah.
he's had some great picks, but he's also fallen ass backwards into
Wait,
Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper
Who's the
DeJean.
owner of Philly?
Shoot.
Who's Philadelphia? Who's the Eagles owner?
I got you. Hang on.
Jeff Lurie.
That's it.
Scratch that. That's the one. Jeff Lurie. Owners should take note of this. If you make a bad decision, own up to it, take accountability for it, and then learn from it and make the right choice. Think about he let Howie Roseman go.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I got it wrong. I'm sorry. Please come back.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're in the Super Bowl.
One thing I
He
respect
ain't got no podcast. He ain't got no radio show. He ain't trying to be seen. He ain't doing no press conference.
one thing I respect Howie for, he knows how to keep the Eagles competitive.
Facts.
He never lets them fall to the wayside. He either gonna make a trade or a free agency. Those is his two dynamics where he always keep the Eagles competitive. It pisses me off that we let Jalen Carter
Yep.
fall to them, and I blame the Atlanta Falcons. I love Bijan Robinson, but y'all haven't had a dominant defensive lineman since my boy Jalen said earlier, since Jonathan Abram, and y'all took Bijan Robinson and y'all let Jalen Carter fall to the Eagles.
What college did he went to again?
Oh, he went to
Carter?
Georgia.
Yeah, he's a UGA kid.
Where's Atlanta from? Where's Atlanta in?
Georgia.
This is why I don't like the Falcons. This is why my grandfather's a Falcons fan, and he taught me at a young age, boy, never love something that you can't trust. And I'm like, I grew up learning I couldn't trust them dirty birds because they don't make smart decisions. You are
They didn't
in the
make no
South.
sense to me.
It's a Georgia
You
thing
are
because they can't drive at UGA either.
To me, like
Makes no
I can
sense to me,
attest
bro.
I'm from Georgia.
Hmm?
The Falcons might be the fifth best sports franchise in the state. It's Georgia, it's the Braves, and then you can put in order everything after that. But the Georgia Bulldogs run that state with iron fists. And you look what Philly is doing. They're taking all your Bulldogs, making a really good defense, but you don't get no SEC players outside of Kyle Pitts, and you don't use him right. But you get Jalen Carter. You got Jalen. Man,
They took Jalen Carter.
I thank God that I'm not a Falcons fan. But my Seahawks, you need to jump
And
on train.
Nakobe Dean.
Get
You were talking about
they
Savannah royalty.
Get some SEC players, or at least get some good Big Ten players.
They took Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Nolan Smith. They took all three of them.
Nolan Smith, yeah.
Nakobe
Dean.
Nakobe Dean.
And Nakobe Dean.
Yep.
How the hell y'all let y'all in their backyard and y'all watched all these players and y'all skipped?
They're not even in the South.
Philadelphia's
in Pennsylvania. They're not even in the South. They had Penn
Y'all
State.
in the backyard. Y'all in the backyard watching them.
I'm still kind of mad
about.
Going to
Philly.
There was a narrative.
They play in your stadium. They pack out your stadium more than you do.
There was a narrative around Nakobe
and you don't
Dean
draft none of
early
them.
in the season.
You don't get none of them.
No, there was a narrative around Nakobe Dean around this earlier in the year. Or, sorry, a month or two ago. I don't
The
like
narrative was the height thing, man. Bump that. The narrative was the height. I remember.
Nakobe Dean is a dog.
Did you see what I was talking about?
Yes.
He did some interview about how. So he, as someone who lives in Savannah right now, he was talking about how he's thrilled for football and grateful for God because of how to help him be in the situation he's in. And I'm misquoting him a little bit because he said if it wasn't for that, he'd be still in Savannah dropping anchors in the harbor and the port.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, well, so many comments like, I'm tired of this underdog mentality type thing. You were a 5-star recruit. I'm like, that's not what he's saying at all.
That's not the point.
The point is if he wasn't a 5-star recruit, if he wasn't athletically gifted, if he didn't work as hard as he did, he knows where he'd be. Mm-hmm. That's what he's saying. He's not talking about it all. You know, everybody's underrated. I'm like, no, that's not at all what anybody said. You're an NFL player. Nobody underrated you. What he's saying is he's grateful that he's as fortunate and blessed as he is. That's what he was saying. And I was like, look, that we need to change this real quick because that y'all are looking for something to be mad about.
Jalen, you made. Oh, my bad. I didn't even.
No, go ahead. I was done.
I was about to say, Jalen, you made a smart decision by not being a Falcons fan because look at what they did this year, bro. You pay a quarterback a guaranteed $100 million, then you draft a quarterback in the first 10 picks.
And the one you drafted looked like he should have been playing early on the season.
To be fair, he should have been playing.
Penix was balling.
I told you.
He looked good.
Yeah,
he was throwing that thing.
I wasn't. And Phoenix will talk about it too. I wasn't mad about if we say his name will show up. I wasn't mad about Phoenix. I love you, man. It wasn't like I wasn't mad about the fact that they took the quarterback. It's the fact that they took him where he did after paying Kirk all that money. But the problem is he wouldn't have been there if they didn't take him at 10.
We know
right. That. So that's why when Phoenix would say that, I'd be like, I get it why you took him. But why would y'all give a quarterback $100? Why would y'all give him a guaranteed $100 million then?
Yeah,
y'all knew y'all was going to take a quarterback.
I wouldn't. Yeah, you could have paid Sam.
Could have paid Sam
to hold it down for a little bit.
Like you gave this man a guaranteed $100 million. Like, come on, dude.
First off, shout out to Kirk Cousins' agent. Can we put him in the Hall of Fame? Can we
go.
put him in the Hall of
Kirk's
Fame?
agent needs to be in the Hall
Oh
of
yeah,
Fame.
he getting the gold jacket.
There's
for
just
sure.
one.
He
There's
getting the
just
gold
one
jacket.
bus for agents, and it's just Kirk's agent. That's it.
Oh yeah,
Bro,
he's getting the gold
just
jacket.
him.
Absolutely. You
That
make him
man-
a bus right now because he's
Bro,
getting
he
the gold
could get
jacket.
us paid if he wanted to.
Oh my
No
god,
cap. He different.
that was
He different,
crazy.
man.
That man
He
ridiculous,
different.
man.
He be
All
getting
right.
Kirk Cousins guaranteed contracts the
Boy,
last
what?
5 to 10
Forever.
years.
Boy, all right.
Forever.
Garrett, close us
All
out.
right, we got to close it out, man. We've run a little bit over, but I mean, it's always good to have people on. Heavy, thank you again for coming on, man. Sorry it took us issues and everything to get it fixed. We're glad to have you back on. Let's get the whole SAD crew back on at some point. That'd
I
be
would
great.
love to ask Ashley. I
That-
would love to ask Ashley. Please
that-
redo that episode because I gotta hear it. I gotta hear it again.
I kind of want to do this.
ringtone.
I kind of want to do a pre-draft episode, and we'll tease it now, I guess. I would love to do a pre-draft episode with all three of you guys, and then us two on it. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, we definitely got to work on trying to
That'd be fun.
Work on setting on something up for the draft.
That'd be fun.
We
So
definitely
let's
got to do that.
before I get into shout out.
I'll talk to them. We could make something happen.
That'd be great, man. Before we get into shout outs and everything, Heavy, is there anything you want to shout out? Plug it right now. Floor is yours. Hot One style. You've got your one camera though, so plug whatever you want.
First before I plug us, shout out to you two guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Y'all been doing your thing for a few years now. And y'all are the most two genuine people that I've ever met that do what y'all do. And y'all take pride in what y'all do, man. And y'all got my full support. Y'all got Sports After Dark's full support. You know what I mean? Y'all my guys. That's why, Jerry be like, oh, I apologize. I'm like, bro, y'all my dogs. You ain't gotta apologize to me, man. Y'all my dogs. You know what I mean?
That's how I was raised.
Whenever we can
That's how
figure
we
it
was
out.
raised.
You know what I'm saying? I get it. You know what I mean? But whenever we can figure it out, y'all know I'm gonna come on here. It doesn't matter to me.
Stuck in
my
our
guys,
Georgia
man.
Stuck in our Georgia ways. Well, he's from Florida.
Hey,
I'm thinking about
man.
Georgia ways.
Hey, but he from the South though. The South is
Mhm.
raised a little
True.
different. So,
Jacksonville's not really Florida either.
I mean, I got a lot of family from Jacksonville, so I understand. What I mean? Like, but so shout out to you two guys. That's why I want to plug it first. And like, y'all need to be following them, man. And they are pretty two pretty dope people that know what they're talking about, man. They take pride in what they do. So when it comes to Sports After Dark, playback, that's where we at. Find us on playback at Sports After Dark, on Twitter at Sports After Dark. On YouTube it's at Sports After Dark After Hours, I think it is. But if you type it in, it'll come up. And on Instagram it's at Sports After Dark 4 on Instagram. Oh, and on TikTok we're at Sports After Dark AH. That's all. Yeah, that's where you can find us at. We got a lot of content coming. There's been a lot of stuff going on, while we ain't been on YouTube in a while, but we making our comeback and we're going to be fresh in tune, with everybody. And like I said, once again, man, I'm always honored to come on the show and talk sports with y'all. So I appreciate y'all, man.
We appreciate you. I do got one more question. Like, when is the wedding again? And like, are we gonna get invitations? I wanna come and see the Heavy Shuffle in person out in the real. I wanna see that.
Listen, man, we trying to figure this out now because
You got time.
we doing the list and we like, oh man, we got almost like 200 people, so we trying to figure it out, man.
Divide it up. Like this is the group we paying for. This is the one like are invited, are allowed to come, but they got to bring their own food and they got to pay for their own stuff.
Own food is crazy.
Put me in that one. I ain't got no problem. Crazy. Especially, wait, is the wedding gonna be in Texas or where is it gonna be?
We're looking at Maryland. That's what's gonna be at.
Okay,
it's gonna be in Maryland.
Okay. All right, Maryland area.
Yeah, Maryland. Area.
I need. Okay, I might have to look at. I might have to look at Guy Finetti's Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives and figure out what's.
I'm imagining Jalen like in the Longest Yard Adam Sandler remake, Cheeseburger Eddie. Jalen's just walking in and quarter pounders in his pocket.
Mom, Dad, find me a good local spot with some barbecue or some really good wings. I got you covered.
This little tinfoil bag in the inside of the jacket.
Hey,
up in there doing your vows. He smells lemon pepper.
Don't forget to see the salt.
Yes.
Hey.
Did y'all? But we're getting way off track, but it's always fun talking. Did y'all see the dude in New Orleans seasoning his porch with Zatarans?
Bro.
Did y'all see that?
Bro, they wilding out down there, man.
I want to know if it worked.
Hey, bro, man. I said, people,
The snow trucks in
Well,
Savannah,
man.
the snow plows in Savannah had Old Bay in the back.
Also, last thing again, prayers out to all the folks in California that went through the
Absolutely.
wildfires, and prayers out to the folks in the East Coast that went through a whole bunch of snow for ungodly reasons. That I still, man.
Hey,
man.
hell froze over. We fired Trent Baalke. I'll take it. All right,
we gotta close out. We gotta go.
Hey,
gotta
listen,
go.
I'm like, what they waiting on, man? Like he needed
you
to
and
go.
me both. We literally,
go, man.
Cohen declined the interview within
Bro.
12 hours. Shad put out a statement saying,
Shad
"Hey,
said, you know what?
Close the show. Garrett,
I
do
know.
shout out. Close the show.
I mean, but seriously though,
You're right.
Shad said, you know what? I know who the
We're
common
done now.
denominator is.
Yep.
We gotta get him
We're
out of
done."
here.
So,
Hey.
all right. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for sticking with us for a little bit longer than usual. It's always fun. It's always worth it. If you like the show, you know what to do. Follow us on the socials at TDSN Pod on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it Twitter. Follow us on TikTok at TDSN_pod. We're on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. That's where you're seeing this now. So if you want to jump into it while we're actually recording the show, if we see your chat, we see your comment, we'll interact with it. If you watch it back later, totally fine too. Maybe we throw stuff on YouTube Shorts. I don't know. We'll deal with that, or we'll cross the bridge when we come to it. With the uncertainty around TikTok, probably not a terrible idea. But if you also like the show, like I said, rate 5 stars wherever podcast platform you're listening to. We're on all of them. If we're not, tell me. I'll put us on there. Not a big deal. If you like the show, if you didn't like the show, it's a bad date. It's a blind date. Your friend set us up. Didn't work out very well. We'll pick up the tab for the hour and 25 minutes of content we just gave you. You go your way, we'll go ours. Bad mouths to your friends, I don't really care, but no reason to leave a review. That's, no 1-star crap. You go your way, we'll go ours. We're totally fine. If you like the show and you rate 5 stars and you retweet the show, let us know. You'll get a shout out at the end of the show. You'll also get a shout out if we think that, one of those situations where if you like us, we think you'll like them as well. So shout outs are always going to be, obviously, Sports After Dark. Always, always, always go check out Sports After Dark. Hop in the comments, lurk in the comments like I do. You'll see me there.
Hate watch if you want to.
I hate watch until playback, because I'm on Android now. So until playback fixes that mess, me chiming in ruins everybody's night. So I'm sit in the comments and lurk. Go check out Jim over at Fan of the Van. Him and I do a show called Steel and Teal. We should hopefully get back to going soon. Go check out the 1420 Sports Podcast, our friendly neighbors up to the north in Canada. Aaron over at Brutally Honest Sports, I know who he's pulling for as a Philly fan. Darian over at Chill Takes, the guys at IIP Radio, Eamon over at Average Joe Sports, John at Wrestling Fan Insight. If you're a wrestling fan, whether you're a hardcore fan,
season!
there you go. If you're a hardcore fan like Jalen or a casual fan like me, there's always something for you there. And if you're looking to gamble, please gamble responsibly. Don't bet the house. Don't bet the rent. Go check out Nate's Daily Wager. Yes, Jalen.
No. I'm acknowledging the problem.
I saw you
Don't
raise
bet the rent.
Don't bet the rent.
Man.
Don't bet the mortgage. Don't bet the house. And listen to Nate's Daily Wager. Thank you. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Go Niners.